Hey man, what it is, what it ain't. We're here for another episode of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host DJ here with my co-host and my bro host, but y'all know how it go though. Uh, the man, the myth, the only one here at the moment, Big Tony, man. Tony, how you doing?
Good, bro. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. Been what, a year plus since
Yeah,
we've been here. Took a little hiatus. Everybody, getting older, going through grown up stuff, figuring
yeah.
stuff out. So, it's always good to get back with the boys and talk football. So, with that being said, the NFL season is back. I know we're about 3 weeks late, but we are here. So, uh, me and Tony have been talking since pretty much the season before the season started, and things going on in Dallas as far as the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, we all know Michael Parsons has been traded to the Green Bay Packers. They're currently 1-2, I believe. Correct, Tony?
Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Michael trade first, and what were your overall reaction, after that happened.
Man, I'm not like most Dallas fans where it's like end all be all when Jerry doesn't sign one of your best players, but it's only hard because Jerry will pay an offensive guy in the blink of a hat, and it's no big deal. But Micah, for me, was just he's an elite player. Don't get me wrong, but you got those elite players that are on the field a lot, and for us, he had a lot of. It's not his fault, injuries and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I kind of understood why it was hard to pay him at first, but then again, it was like, what's the risk and reward? And I think now we kind of see our defense is struggling. If you put it on the DBs to handle it all, we're hurt, suck, whichever way you want to put it. So I think the Michael Parsons train is going to work out for the long haul. After that first game, we assumed that it was going to be better. And then, in old Dallas fashion, just went back to old being Dallas.
Yeah, no, obviously, the first game, like I said, it's the first time in a long time where Dallas's offense looked like it was going to be the thing that propelled them because y'all putting points on the board. Everybody, it looked like the tandem of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb was going to work out well just to kind of get that double team, double coverage off of CeeDee Lamb and have to, draw more eyes away. Surprisingly for me, that Javante pickup that y'all had at running back, I wasn't sure because he didn't really have the most productive or didn't mesh very well in the system of Denver when he was
Yeah.
over there. And then he came over here and he looks great. I kind of wanted to pick him up in our fantasy league, but I was like, I don't know. I don't
I
know. I
had
got to
to.
see it.
I had to take the chances because I mean, what other? I mean, they got to play somebody. And the
Right.
blue guy, I'm like, I don't know him enough. Miles Sanders getting old, so I'm like, let's just see what it is. And obviously, I made the right decision for that. I
Absolutely.
always knew he was a hard runner. You know what I mean? I thought he was actually good before he had his downfall. So this fresh new start, he's actually making the offense look really, really good. I'm very happy with that. I'll say that looks a lot better than it has in a few years.
Uh,
CD getting hurt doesn't help a whole lot. You know what I mean? That kind of, I think that puts Dak, who's already kind of hopscotchy in the pocket on making decisions. So now he's like, who do I throw to? And at the end of the day, it's George, but he's a deep ball, type of guy. So I don't know. I don't feel like the guy Tolbert and Turpins. I don't feel like they're the best fit for the situation. But Dak got to do what he got to do, and kind of go from there.
for sure. And speaking of Dallas, the most recent game, we had the Chicago Bears show up to play the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott with 31 completions on 40 attempts for 251 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions, sacked twice for a total of negative 17 yards, and a 40.7 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
Uh, Javante Williams led all Dallas running backs with 10 carries and 76 yards. Uh, the only touchdown caught was by George Pickens, had 5 receptions, 68 yards, but you had Jake Ferguson also contribute 13 receptions for 82 yards.
Shout out to Jake.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Then we go to the other side of the ball. One of the most highly touted quarterbacks coming in, last year, Caleb Williams came in the game and he had 19 completions on 28 attempts, 298 yards, an average of 10.6 yards of completion, four touchdowns, no sacks, a quarterback rating of 86.7. Uh, Again, DeAndre Swift, 13 carries for 33 yards. That was the most on their team.
Mm.
You had Luther Burden, who was, I believe, a top 10 pick in the draft as well this past year, wide receiver from Missouri. They had 3 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. You had Roma Dunze with 3 receptions for 62 yards and 1 touchdown. He had DJ Moore 4 receptions for 21 yards and 1 touchdown, and Cole Kmet 1 reception for 10 yards and a touchdown. So Tony, obviously, you were talking about some of the struggles of the defense. What did you see in that game?
Man, I felt like in the past when teams would just throw deep ball after deep ball after deep ball, and we just couldn't cover it. And I think if with the situation with our defensive line not really being as elite as it was, now Caleb had just time to actually pass and be comfortable. And I think he's a very comfortable passer. A lot of times they try to dog him for certain things. But as you can see, he threw a 65-yard bomb like it was nothing. I think Caleb is more than capable of be doing that. I think a lot of off the field stuff might get in his head. But at the end of the day, he was a first round draft pick for a reason. And if you give him time to pass the football, I don't feel like there's no way he's not going to look great. But our defense sucks as right now. Linebackers, I don't even know half of them. To be honest with you, DBs, they're always changing in and out. Safety slow, made me feel like Roy Williams was back there. It's just, as a Dallas fan, it's tough. And everybody knows me. I take it one game at a time. I don't do the whole, we're going to, no. You never know what's going to happen. Just like going into that Bears game, I'm thinking we should win this game. Should be no issues. Should just win it comfortably and lose by a whole lot. You see, so it's just, it's just never, there's never a time in Dallas you're just like, yeah, we're going to beat them. There's never a time ever when the Giants, we should probably beat them comfortably. That didn't go well. So it just went to show, man, like we got a long way to go no matter which way you look at it. And until they figure it out, we'll just be the Dallas Cowboys that everybody makes fun of and laughs about, but get the most TV time.
No, that's a fact. And you and my Gmon for sure are the most realistic Dallas Cowboy fans. Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, at the beginning of the season, I knew that y'all's offense. Game one, I was like, wow, this is, this is an offense that they've probably needed over the past few years when they actually had, Trevon Diggs that was burning hot. They had, what's the other guy? Bland, I
Mm-hmm.
think is the other
Yeah,
corner. He's really good, and with Micah, you have that, and you allow Micah to be a pass rusher at those times instead of having to play the run often because there's, close games. But yeah, man, I'm a little nervous to see like what Jerry does with those picks because obviously right now, so long as Dallas signs George Pickens back after this year, because I believe this is basically a 1 year prove it deal, the last year on his contract. If Jerry decides to sign him back, like if y'all can get the right defensive pieces, I think that, I mean, like I said, the offense looks really good, but I think the players, as far as like around the league and things of that nature, they're a little nervous because of all the Jerry Jones antics and
yeah,
what goes on there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So signing
I think,
like a go ahead.
I think we've done good drafting defensive players in the
Mm-hmm.
past. So I'm hoping those picks is what he uses it on because I don't feel like from our offense, unless you were to get another receiver for whatever reason. But as of right now, if it's not offensive lineman, I don't feel like we really need anything on the offense. So why not throw everything you got on defense right now? That's and I think a lot of times, and this is what I'm learning now that I watch the NFL a lot more, is it depends a lot on who your assistants are, because you got to find some guys that can get them going, no matter who it is. Just for
Absolutely.
example, Quinn, that was our defensive coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
monster. Our defense is the best in the league, right? He leaves and his team's super successful. And I think in football, realistically, you have to be defense first. Like that's just kind of the I've learned is the main ingredient to a successful team.
Mm-hmm.
And like the only one I think that it would say that that wasn't the case, well, as much was the Chiefs or is the Chiefs, however you want to put
Yeah.
it. It's I kind of look at the Chiefs like Golden State. They were just going to outscore you. That's just what it was, type of thing. So yeah, I just think Dallas really has to just buy into the defense. Offense to come, it's okay. Dak's feasible. You get him receivers that can catch. He's starting to throw it a little bit better, make a little better decisions. I thought until we played the Bears, he threw 2 picks. But he's gonna be him. He's a lot like Russell Westbrook to me. You just live what you get. You never know what's gonna come. They're gonna compete, but you just don't know what's gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? So that's just where I think Jerry. I'm not a fan of Jerry. If he went ahead and called it a day, in life, I'd be cool with that. And they can go ahead, pack his shit, go chill on, a boat somewhere,
Yeah.
and maybe his son can be a little bit better. But if he's not, let's run
Yeah.
him up out of there. Find the next guy.
Yeah, and I think that's, one of the things that you and many Dallas Cowboy fans like. Jerry, I think he looks at the profit he's turning versus, the actual fans that care about the winning situations. And I know you guys have probably missed out on a lot of good head coaches because of what Jerry does and how he chooses to run his organization, and good players just because, when coaches come there, you're a former coach. When you come there, you come to coach the kids. You're not looking for the athletic director to be coming down telling you how to run your system, how to run your program, different things like that. But hey, Jerry, you got to do something at some point. I
Man,
mean,
you could be in the limelight. You ain't got to make no decisions, homie. Just
that's
let
it.
it be. Oh,
That's
that's it.
that's
This
it,
ain't
man.
back in the day, bro. You ain't got to be in front of the camera. Nobody cares.
No,
Nobody cares. You're not that important like you used to be.
yeah, you don't
So,
see the Eagles GMs and all those
right.
people down there, doing press conferences. It's Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. Same thing with the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You don't see these people coming out having podcasts and but
Crazy thing about it though, like Dallas can be bad, right? We can be average, whatever. But then something comes out like the documentary on Netflix, and it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Now I see why everybody's always loved us.
mm,
And or hated.
bless you.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
came in, bam, what's up? We're the kings right here. This is what we do, yada yada yada, and kind of went from there. But you know, you always look at it from a standpoint of, I feel like we lost the essence of what a Dallas Cowboy was. It was dogs and fight and toughness, and now it's all about money and being pretty, and that's okay, bro. I mean, that's just what it is of the world. But go find some dogs that just want to play football and call it a day. That's
that's
it.
it. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's it.
So, speaking of the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs have been having a rough start, obviously, as things have progressed throughout this year so far. They're 1-2, their only win coming against, the New York Giants, who been struggling, to say the least. Obviously, they signed Russell Wilson in the offseason from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I mean, let's just go over some of these numbers. Patrick Mahomes at 22 completions on 37 attempts for a total of 224 yards, one touchdown. Kareem Hunt had 10 carries for 34 yards and one touchdown as well. The only person to catch a touchdown for the Chiefs was Tyquan Thornton, 5 receptions, 71 yards with the tutty. Um, Obviously, the Giants. Let me go look, double check. Giants had nothing. Oh, Scatterboo had one touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and then after that, it was a field goal. With the Chiefs only winning 22-9. I don't know. I mean, granted, you want to show them some grace because they are the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, been to what, like 3 back-to-back Super Bowls. But I mean, as we've seen Xavier Worthy goes down game one, running into Travis Kelce. You see the Rashi Rice situation, being suspended for 6 games. And we're looking at potentially Travis Kelce's last year, you know. So just all those things culminating into right now, it's tough to say what'll happen just because losing so many games will put you behind the 8 ball before you get a healthy Xavier Worthy, a fully healthy Xavier Worthy. And then, Rashi Rice comes back after 6 games. I've been seeing a lot of things with or different people speculating, maybe make a trade for Tyreek and bring him back home, which I don't think would be a bad thing, especially as you get the Rashi Rices and the Xavier Worthies, back in the full swing. But right now it's not looking good. And the longer they wait to figure it out, or, because the AFC is a tough conference. Like you got the best of the best over there. So, you got the Lamars, you got the freaking the Bills, you got Cincinnati when they're healthy. Like you got a bunch of people over there. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on where the Chiefs are at today, and do you see them making another run for a Super Bowl?
Man, the thing with the Chiefs is they might lose all their weapons, but their main one's still there. So, in all reality, if you let Patrick Mahomes pass the football, he's going to be able to make whatever happen. You know what I mean? I just think they're kind of up in shambles right now because everything is so discombobulated and messed up. I don't know if they'll win a championship again because the Eagles are really good. And I think there's some teams in the NFL that are actually, a lot better than everybody expected, especially with some of the trades and things of that nature. But I don't think you count Kansas City out. It's like Golden State right now. Like I said, they might not win a couple years, but then they'll pop up out of nowhere and just be back to doing their thing. They're gonna get Tyreek. I feel like that fixes a whole lot. Their defense may always be skeptical, but at that point, you got to outscore them, and that's when it gets tough. And that's the toughest part about them is that our group message always talks about they get crappy calls or they get all the calls or whatever the situation is, but the Chiefs have been who they are for the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it's been. And I don't feel like they've had a big enough fall off for us to freak out and say, oh, they're out of the question.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I just think, as they if they can make that one trade, one thing about speedsters, I'm not saying everybody that runs fast is a good football player, but we've seen Tyreek prove his capabilities going from Patrick Mahomes to a Tua, who doesn't have the strongest arm, who can still make an impact on a franchise that hasn't really had an impact in the NFL as far as the Miami Dolphins in a long time. So you bring him back home and he can still take the top off of a defense, which is going to allow for those more intermediate and shallow routes, and open other guys up just on default, just because you always have to make sure that you don't let Tyreek Hill beat you over the top. So yeah, I think they'll figure it out. It's just it's ugly right now, and it Patrick Mahomes is having to run around, scramble by himself more time in the pocket than usual, and that's something you have to do when your typical guys who are there who are able to find ways to get open aren't there, and you're trying to work with second and third stringers at the wide receiver position. Next, I would like to talk about one of the more exciting games that definitely affected both of my fantasy football games because I had the Eagles defense in both games. So the next game I would like to talk about is the Rams Philadelphia Eagles game.
Yeah.
What a game. What a game.
Yeah.
26-9, I believe, or something like that at halftime.
Yep.
The Rams are winning, and the Eagles find a way to come back and don't let the Rams score a single point and end up winning the game on a blocked field goal, running it back for a touchdown. Jordan Davis, big 6'6", 340,
Moving.
moving,
Moving.
moving.
Makes big guys like me happy.
Hey, they said
Pause.
he is the heaviest player ever to score a 50-yard touchdown in that fashion in
Wow.
his NFL history. So I'm not sure if you were able to catch on or watch that game, but I just want to get your thoughts on it. And what are you seeing from Philly, from the slow start, and from the Rams, who have gone from moving off of Cooper Cup and Matthew Stafford's back injury, just different things.
Man, Matt Stafford been playing on and off hurt forever. So, him, as long as that arm work, he'd be all right. They'll be straight. But no, the Rams are impressive. I had their defense last week, I think. And I got Devontae Adams in one of my other leagues. So, that Stafford is, in my opinion, one of the most slept on passers ever. You know what I mean? Ever. That's just what it is. He can sling it. And so I think the Rams are just figuring it out. They got the pieces finally to let him go. Let him do his thing. He's got the pieces to let him throw that thing and put it where people can go get it, and they do their thing. But so I think the Rams will be good again. I think it was just a couple years they took off, you know what I mean, trying to work out some kinks or whatever. So I think they're back full fledged, ready to roll to be more competitive, and then the Eagles, they're just, man, the Eagles are legitimately like Jalen Hurts in real life. They just grind out, know how to win. They don't really ever shake. They just do them. However you're going to give it to them, they're going to take it. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure,
And
for
so
sure.
that's just kind of that's just kind of the thing I think about the Eagles. They're great. They have every piece you could possibly ask for. There's nothing they're faulting right now.
Hmm.
You just got to go in and beat them. They got a great coach, quarterback, running back, tight end. They got everything. They got everything right now. Getting Saquon, in my opinion, was cheating. But gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is. Giants suck, and that's what's up. But I tell people all the time right now, the NFL is the most exciting it's been in a long time to
Absolutely.
watch. Like on a Sunday, it's not no boring, just none. Like it's exciting this year. It's points being scored and turnovers and fumbles. It's just a lot of NFL's a lot of fun. I'm really happy on Sundays to actually be able to watch. You know what I mean? Because I don't really get to watch college football as much on Saturday. As I like to. So
Hmm.
I really like to just take time on Sunday to try to recoup and then watch. But no, the NFL's been exciting.
Oh yeah, 100%. Um, obviously I've liked Matthew Stafford since since he was in Detroit. Him and Megatron was my first introduction. But I was definitely nervous whenever they decided to move off from Cooper Kupp and to bring in Devontae in, and I was skeptical just because of the way he fit in New York with the Jets, and I was like, I don't know, is this that time where wide receivers go over here and just for some reason just fall off the face of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
but he's had a resurgence over there, and it's only going to get better. Obviously, it's the first season together and the first couple of games, but Puka Nacua is going to be Puka Nacua. That boy is going to go out there, catch passes, he's going to block, he's going to make impact plays. I think we've all realized that Kyron Williams is a serious back in the NFL, who demands some respect. They got a young, really good defense over there with the Rams. But, man, the Eagles, I don't know what happened at halftime, but the crazy thing is, yes, AJ made some good catches, but it's like, it wasn't nothing crazy. Like it wasn't one of those things you see on ESPN as far as like this person had 220 yards receiving
Yeah.
on X amount of, it was just a bunch of good receptions to the sideline. Then Devontae catches a zig route, and for a touchdown. Like Saquon has yet to put together a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that is issues with the offensive line. I don't know if Saquon is, has some last year fatigue on his body just from how much he was asked to do. But, like you said, the Jalen Hurts way is just, at some point we're just going to figure it out. And that defense, I don't know what they did to go from getting 26 points scored on them to letting them score zero the
Yeah.
entire second half. And then just to see Jordan Davis, because I liked him, I thought he was a massive human being going into the draft. And
Right.
then to see, I seen him running the ball after, but I didn't know he was the one that also blocked the field goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is amazing. Like those are the things. Like, don't get me wrong, there's big guys in the NBA, but that's a different type of big guy. Like
Yeah.
when you think of a big man in the NBA in today's game, it's some big, long, lanky dude. But I'm talking about the 300 pounders that are moving, running sub 540s
Yeah.
and
Monsters.
was moving, bro. He blocked that. And I was actually on a Discord call with Josh, and we're talking about the game. He's watching his phone. I'm watching it on mine. And he's like, fuck. He was like, I need the Packers to beat the Browns, and they're about to kick a field goal, and I need and then I need then the Rams are about to kick a field goal on us. Or no, he needed the Browns to beat the Packers, not the Packers to beat the Browns. And so he was like, I'm just I lose either way. And then he was like, forget it, I'm just gonna watch the Eagles game, and as soon as that happens, boom, that blocked that field goal running back. And surprisingly, bro, there was like four blocked field goals that day. The Jets
Yeah.
had one that they almost could have won, but they left too much time on. Like it was just a crazy day. But no, that
So
Eagles,
the NFL is so fun, bro.
yeah,
You just starting to see they really fighting. They really playing hard. It really matters right now, and that's what makes it good. Man, it makes it real good to just watch and support. You know what I mean? It's all the stuff
absolutely.
that's been going on. It's like now they're just ready to go. So now I was like, yo, I was in here tripping, like, whoa. In fantasy, it changes a lot. You know what I'm saying? It could change a
Right.
whole lot. So I'm in there locked. In our group messages, we got big, friend guys that are big Eagles fans or whatever. So, we just let it ride.
For sure. I was projected 4 fantasy points from my defense. After that block and touchdown, my defense went from 4 fantasy points to 12. And that's what helped me beat Blaine last week. But so yeah, just crazy stuff going on, man. Another game before we get out of here, I would like to talk about. Honestly, it's just the team in general, not even the specific game. Because we're in, the state of Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man.
Shout out to Bake and Bake we trust.
He's a baller. Cleveland gave up on him, sent him on his way. My boy went to where he went to the Rams. He went. I don't even know if he made
Yeah,
a stop.
Carolina
I want to say he did, but was that Sam Darnold? Am I tripping?
he might be right.
So
There was
yeah,
somewhere else he went.
yeah, and so he goes to the Rams. He's there for all of a day and is expected to start and wins that game. Then he ends up in Tampa on a prove it deal, and then right now he's 3-0.
Yeah.
One of the few undefeated teams left in the league outside of San Francisco, the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles, the Bills, and somebody else. But I'll pick that up later. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, that team, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin still hasn't come back. The rookie Emeka Egbuka, it looks like he's going to be a stud.
He
And
better
then,
be, he better be the man with the plan now.
oh
I
yeah,
think Purcell might not Purcell. Who did just Mike Evans is hurt,
Mike Evans is hurt. Chris Godwin
so
hasn't come back yet.
he's about to go dumb. If
Yeah,
y'all got him, you better start him. But
yeah.
now Baker's a winner, bro. Baker is a dog. Baker is the guy who everybody wants their quarterback to be like in a degree of leadership and effort and support and all that type of stuff because he's always been slept on. He's a lot better version of Johnny Manziel. You know what I mean? He really turned it up to be a good person. When he still talks his noise,
Hmm.
walks his walk, whatever. But if I have opportunity every year, I'm picking Baker in fantasy, just because if for some reason you're gonna get 15, 20 points out of him. That's just what it is. He's gonna make the passes or he's gonna scramble for a touchdown. Just Baker's a winner, man. I think for the Bucks, when you have a super winner and you replace him with somebody else, you need to replace him with somebody who has that same desire of winning. He might not be as precise and things of that nature and have the experience that Tom Brady had,
Hmm.
but he has some of that in him that's like, let's go win this game. And so with him, you don't think they ever have a fear that they're not going to win. The Buccaneers are good.
Yes.
That's just like if I would say my second favorite team is probably the Bucks
Hmm.
now, and then my buddies are big Denver fans, so I support them a little bit. But Baker Mayfield, man, if you're a person that just come in as a new fan, like if you don't know any teams, I feel like he'd probably get a majority of the picks on that, just because of who he is. Baker's a stud, bro. I wish Dallas would have drafted him.
Oh yeah, he's amazing, and uh, like most people today in all sports, point guards are bigger. Shooting guards are taller. You have as far as point guards, you have like LaMelo, who's 6'7" point guard, where that wasn't as common back in the day. Obviously, Magic was an
Yeah,
anomaly in his time. But Baker Mayfield is an anomaly, and just nobody really. Everybody wants the prototypical 6'3" to 6'5" quarterback. The Trevor Lawrences, the Cam Newtons, even Tom Brady at 6'4". But everybody talks about how these small quarterbacks aren't successful. You have the Tuas, you have the Bryce Youngs, you have the Kyler Murrays, but Baker Mayfield is single handedly at this point in time carrying that torch.
for sure.
Russell Wilson ushered in those guys and gave them an opportunity, and Baker right now is the only one taking it and running with it. And I'm pleasantly surprised because, like I said, I think the Browns really screwed him over in his situation because he led you to a playoff win for the first time in forever. And then you just thought, like, granted, we're at the time he's what, 22, 23, 24. Like, he's still a young guy. And, we're not all mature at that age. Lord knows I wasn't.
For
And,
sure.
so some things happen, but nothing crazy. But you gave up on him. Cool, whatever. And now he ends up in the situation he's in now. Florida, no state tax. I got some of the best weapons in the world. This is a place that people would want to come to. It's
Mm.
not me trying to recruit people to Cleveland, Ohio. No offense to Cleveland, Ohio. It's just the truth.
Right.
You want sand and ocean and palm trees, or you want to be over there.
Right.
So it is what it is, man. I'm really happy for Baker. I
For
wasn't
sure.
sure how everything would turn out, but pleasantly surprised to see that he's one of the few undefeated team/slash quarterbacks left in the NFL at the moment.
Mm. He gonna lead the way, homie. They got everything they need. Just because I think Bucky came in monster. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that helps. And you obviously got Mike, and you ain't even got his pieces in there undefeated. You see what I'm saying? Like, just wait till you get him back. Then
Yeah.
it's sky's the limit for them. For
Yep.
Dallas, there's no sky for us. You know what I mean? It's just the
All
ceiling.
limits.
We're there, bro. We're just middle of the pack, 8-8. That's just what it is, bro. I don't even look. I texted my dad the other day, the second quarter. I said, "Hey, man," and he said, "I turned that bullshit off." I said, "Okay, all right. It's not even that bad yet, but okay, cool. Whatever you say, my dog."
Yep.
That's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna sit here and try to who no oh no. I don't care, bro. Like we should be better than that. No disrespect, we should beat the Bears. That should be easy. But it's just not,
It's a
It's
fact.
just
I don't know, man. Like, similar to your story, I called my Gma and I was like, Gma, how about them Cowboys? And she was like, we suck. And I just busted out laughing because, I mean, my Gma's like you. Like, she ain't never been one to sugarcoat it. She don't care that just because she like the Dallas Cowboys. And it's funny because my whole life, my Gma's like the Cowboys. My grandpa's like Kansas City. This is way prior to
mm,
Patrick Mahomes ever showing
right.
up. So, they have fun with that. But she's not happy. She's not happy Micah's gone. She's not happy Jerry Jones is still walking the halls of Dallas Stadium. It's just all bad for her right now.
I
But
feel it, yeah. I feel it for sure.
yeah, man. So that is going to be our return episode. If y'all
Yep.
join us, we're coming back, man. We're going to be getting back weekly.
Yeah.
Stay tuned as we continue the rest of this NFL season, leading up into our NBA season, where we will be having Meats join us again, where we will be having Dalen join us again, Abe Linko joining us again. We'll have the whole crew back, and we're trying to find a centralized location so that we can all do an in-person episode and present that to y'all. So with
And
that being
football,
said,
we might get Will on here again, my
yes,
brother. We'll get some guys on
yes.
here that can.
Yeah, Alex's long awaited return, the
Yeah.
wild man himself, has talked about hinted at coming back. So we'll see, man. I appreciate everybody. Obviously, like I said, it's been a while, but thankful for Tony to reaching out to me. I'm thankful to y'all reaching out, whether it been Facebook, Instagram, text message, things like that y'all enjoyed the show and that we needed to come back, and we're happy to do this. So that being said, peace and love, and we out.